These two jammies are extremely, utterly, and enragingly ruffled. Freezer, you done goofed. Hey folks, MasakoX here. This what if has been something of an enigma, hasn't it? At first, you might think that this is some kind of April Fool's joke of a story, which isn't possible in the slightest. Or even if it was, why would Krillin deserve such a buff into relevancy in relation to the Dragon World characters? Well, in my defense, this what if has had a lot of requests to be covered, and it's something of a fan curiosity. So, I decided to undertake this endeavour as logically as possible, and it all starts with a wish made on the dragon that Krillin made so that he may try to emulate his best friend's prodigious power. What if Krillin, through pure happenstance, became a Saiyan? Surely Shenron can't change the physiology of a person from one type of creature into another, right? Well, in my defense, it's never really been explored, and I can't recall Toriyama saying that it couldn't happen, so in my mind, that's good enough to at least try it out, see what would happen. In our first outing, we had Krillin feeling a little aimless and without drive. He'd felt that he was struggling to keep up with Goku after the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. This level of despondency soon turned into mild jealousy, and so, against his better judgment and teachings from Roshi, he gathered the Dragon Balls and wished for the fairly vague desire to just be like Goku. What he got was something more literal. The moral of the story? Be careful what you wish for. And after that, Krillin learnt the ins and outs of what it was to be a Saiyan at roughly the same pace as Goku did in the story, and together they found eventual solace in one another's musings about this new understanding of who they were. In the last part though, Krillin also found out what it meant to be Saiyan when the person that he had been tasked to keep safe no longer was safe. Before all that though, Krillin and the Dragon Team contingent had been doing well with gathering the Dragon Balls of Namek and trying to wish their friends back. They had almost done it and could go home when Frieza decided that he found out about their ploy and toyed with them after being a very eager beaver with Vegeta. Gohan then used his quick smarts and quick thinking to wish for the dragon to simply go away, using up the second wish before he could use the third one. With Porunga literally disappearing from view and nobody willing to summon him back, Frieza took his anger out on the kid and promptly meant that Gohan had passed for a second time. With Gohan gone, both Goku and Krillin were apoplectic with anger at seeing this, and their transformation into Super Saiyan was essentially at the same time. Instead of just getting the one, we and Vegeta bore witness to the birth of two Legendary Super Saiyans. And I think Frieza's gonna regret that move big time. Frieza, not being able to sense energy, was not convinced in the slightest that these two were the legendary Super Saiyans that he had been told about all those years ago. Frieza let out a bout of laughter, which screamed of utter derision and skepticism. He didn't believe these two one bit. Is that what I was supposed to be scared of? For all of these years? A couple of blonde upstarts who got their feelings hurt? This is no legend. This is just a mere tantrum from a couple of sore losers. Neither Krillin or Goku said a word. Vegeta, though, he was feeling a little bit concerned at the moment. Sure, he was still smarting after the fact that Krillin had gotten this power before he had done, but these two's demeanour had changed considerably. It was weird. Gone were the jovial, relaxed and soft mannerisms, and in their place were the marks of true Saiyans. This tonal shift might have been welcomed had they been still in their base forms, but with the prince slowly coming to terms with his newfound ability to sense energy himself without a scouter, he was getting more scared by the second. Yet he couldn't show it, no, not in front of Frieza. What's the matter? Suddenly got nothing to say? Come on now, speak for me. You've done plenty of that already. What's the harm in a little... Frieza was stopped in his tracks when Krillin rushed forward and gut punched him with all of his strength. Frieza looked down and could see the smouldering gold hair and aura licking his chin, and it felt extremely hot. All this coming from a singular person. Even though he couldn't sense the true power behind it, the sheer amount of thermal energy on display was enough to give him pause for thought. He felt that. That and the sheer punch hurt like a mother. Krillin still said nothing, but Goku chose to speak for them both. Bulma, get Gohan away from here. We need to make sure he's safe until we can bring him back. Bulma sniffed and brushed the tears away from her eyes and nodded. Right, Goku. Vegeta, Goku added, cover her. What? Vegeta said, having been stirred from his own thoughts and being miles away. Why should I? He snarled with gritted teeth. But then he was met with Goku, who after-imaged his way straight in front of the prince and looked down at him with sheer contempt. You are in no position to argue. I am telling you, take her back to the ship. I know you can sense energy, and I know that you're smarter than what your actions have suggested. Do the right thing for once, and stay out of our way. Vegeta said nothing. Instead, he and walked over to Bulma. Come on, woman! Bulma chose to take the offer, but before they left, Vegeta looked back at Goku. This isn't over. What you have now is fleeting. I will reclaim my place as the strongest of all Saiyans! With that, the pair took Gohan and left. Frieza had regained his composure and saw the trio fly away. Aww. It's a shame that the prince chose to run away. He's always wanted to see me suffer. Now you've got him running errands for you. I suppose that's a little bit entertaining. But you made a big mistake going full pelt from the start. Krillin had jumped back and given the Emperor a sour look. Shut up! I will not let you kill anyone else! With Goku having charged Vegeta, he joined his friend and they stood firm side by side. Frieza was still assured of himself that he could win against these monkeys, especially since he was in his final form after all, and not even using, actually, a quarter of his full power. Well, go on then, let's get this over with. I'm only just getting started. What? You've got another form you're hiding from us? No, I respect you enough to walk amongst you in my true form, but I have plenty of power under the hood, as it were. If you would let me show you, I can give you what you primates want, right? A good fight? Goku was tempted by this prospect. King Kai, watching from his planet, was pleading with Goku through the airwaves not to let Frieza power up. Goku! Don't give him what he wants! You've got the upper hand here! Finish him! With Goku seriously considering his options, Krillin, though, was decided. I don't care what power you are! You killed my friend! The one I was supposed to keep safe, he said with venom in his voice. And you did a pretty miserable job at it. If you would just let me power up to 100%, I can at least ensure that your death isn't as pathetic. You died in battle, with glory. That's what Saiyans admire most, isn't it? I'm not like other Saiyans. Without further elaboration, Krillin powered up to maximum and let forth a flurry of blows against Frieza with everything he had. King Kai was whooping and cheering with delight and was amazed with Krillin's resolve. Remarkable! Krillin, your humanity's still there, thank goodness! Use it to show that monster what for. He was right. Krillin's humanity was overriding the Saiyan desire to fight fair, or at least let their enemy power up. But the little guy was fighting his own battles to ensure it stayed that way. Sure, Krillin was also tempted to let Frieza power up to full, but that image of Gohan being slain was just too much to bear. The fact that Krillin had been human most of his life was not something that could be brushed away so easily. He was a Super Saiyan with the spirit of a human. Frieza was clearly not going to get the chance to do so in powering up, and so he chose to unleash his signature Death Ball attack and tried to pull the rug, figuratively speaking, out from underneath these buffoons. But in the midst of his beatdown from Krillin, he'd forgotten that Goku was right there, a Super Saiyan, and able to stop the ball from making contact with the planet's surface and mantle. It had struck the ocean below and started to plow into the Namekian crust, but Goku had gotten past it, and from underneath the water used every single ounce of power he had left to push it out, back from below the depths. Frieza could not sense his attack doing what it was supposed to do. Instead, it had risen from the water and begun to float into the sky. Goku steering it away from the planet. I think this belongs to you, Frieza! Frieza seethed with rage. That is not supposed to happen! How could you? You don't get it! You're never gonna get it, Krillin would chuckle, as if he had been trying to explain the simplest of things to an imbecile for many moons. Goku then arched backwards, steering the death ball back towards Frieza, and then chucked it in the direction of the Emperor. Frieza saw it coming and tried to escape, but he was being held in place by Krillin. You're not going anywhere! You will die right here, by your own destructive force! Only then will you understand the pain you inflicted upon the galaxy! To further ensure Frieza couldn't escape, Krillin then began to launch himself towards the ball, carrying Frieza with him. No! Krillin, don't do it! This fell on deaf ears. Krillin had made his mind up. He was going to sacrifice himself. Gohan, I'm sorry, were his last thoughts before he and Frieza struck the ball and it exploded in midair. Goku was thrown back by the blast, and Vegeta and Bulma turned around many miles away to see the explosion over the horizon. What happened? Trembled Bulma. Vegeta just hung there in silence before muttering to himself. The small one. He's gone. Bulma was shocked. Krillin? Was dead? Frieza's gone as well. I can't sense him either. Whatever it was, he went down. Like a Saiyan. Seeing no immediate threat, Vegeta ordered Bulma to carry on to the ship without him. But as you can probably tell, that wasn't going to happen. She ordered him to take her back to where Goku was, and after many protestations, he capitulated. When they did get there, Goku had powered down to his base form, and was utterly exhausted and devastated. He explained as best he could what had gone down. That Krillin had hurled himself and Frieza into his own planet-destroying attack to ensure he couldn't power up and pull any fast ones. Krillin had used his unique situation to do what a full-blooded Saiyan could not. Look past the allure of strength and do what needed to be done, regardless of personal temptation. Vegeta then remembered something. There's always the Dragon Balls. Goku then shook his head and said that since Krillin had died once already, years ago, the balls couldn't wish him back. But then Vegeta snarled. Idiot! You haven't even tried! There's still one wish left on these Namekian balls! Your son sent the dragon away with one wish left to spare! Goku heard this and looked stunned. You're right! We gotta find Dende and the other Namekians! They rushed over to the nearest Namekian village, with people still in it, and explained what went down. Having heard that Frieza was no longer alive, they cheered with delight and vowed to help them however they could. And after using Bulma's dragon radar to double back to where the balls were gathered, Porunga returned and awaited for the last wish.
Speak now, your third wish.
Goku thought for a moment. He didn't know who to wish back, but then he settled on his friend Krillin. But the dragon could not make the wish happen. The one called Krillin did not want to return. Then Goku sensed a voice in his ear, telling him that Gohan should be brought back instead, if it was possible. Weird. That voice sounded like that was Krillin himself. But now guided by this voice, whatever it was, Goku then instead chose Gohan. When the wish was granted, Gohan came to in Bulma's arms, and was very confused as to what had happened, but was very happy to at least see that Frieza was gone. As for the Earth Dragon Balls, they were ready to go, and they were used to bring back all those that were killed by Frieza and his men, leading to many other Namekians coming to life. As for Krillin, it turned out he could be brought back in a few months' time with the Namekian Dragon Balls, now that knowing that the one-time resurrection thing here wasn't a thing. 1 year on Namek also was 4 months on Earth, so you only have to wait a few months. Goku then yelled up to the sky with relief, and told Krillin via King Kai that they will bring him back the next time Porunga could be summoned. And with that, Krillin, with his body intact, chose to make his way to Snake Way, and train some more with King Kai personally. On the way there, he ran into Piccolo, who was going the other way, almost getting to the check-in station. Piccolo then noticed Krillin's halo. So, you gone for good? Nope! You ain't getting rid of me that easily! Krillin chuckled. I'll be back in a few months, the Namekian smirked. Good luck with that. And hey, nice work on Namek. You really came through for them. Krillin smiled. Thanks! I'm just glad Gohan's okay. This power I got, it was scary. I need to figure out how it works before I can use it again. Piccolo nodded, and without further talking, he finished his flight back to Earth. In those 4 months, Krillin spent his days training with King Kai to perfect his Super Saiyan transformation, to figure out how it worked. King Kai was also taking notes with this power for his own research.
Wow, I never thought I would see this power again.
Again? You mean you've seen this before?
Well, sorta. Many centuries ago. And it wasn't like I was there or anything, but I could feel it though. Real scary. The Super Saiyan of legend wrought havoc across the universe with its strength. The only thing that could stop it was itself. It was too strong for its own good, and so he was all consumed by it and was wiped out by his own power. Anyway, let's hope the same thing doesn't happen to you,
he said with awkward laughter, and that was the end of it. Krillin gulped. Right.
One thing's for sure, to have a Super Saiyan here, it could spell good things for Kaioken should any of you lot show up here again. I don't want my technique being forgotten.
So with each other's help, Krillin began to understand the power of Super Saiyan, and King Kai, in turn, took on board this information for his own purposes. Back on Earth, Goku was also trying to figure out his way to mastering Super Saiyan. And as for Vegeta, he chose to naturally do it his own way by taking off into the stars as in the original. For now, all was well. But as we know, a certain cold force might come a-knocking soon enough. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you folks think? Will Krillin be brought back in time to stop King Cold? Or will he not be needed for now? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!